Hello guys and dolls, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a review of the Graftobian Airbrush Beauty Makeup. Sorry, it's a little bit of a mouthful to say the whole thing. This is a water-based airbrush makeup. The texture of this is so, or not just the texture of it on your face, but like the product itself is so thin and watery. This is by far the most watery airbrush makeup that I've used so far. Because it's super thin in texture, I wouldn't recommend using it without an airbrush. This is one of those that you really can't use without the airbrush machine. I had this one mixed up the other day and it's already like completely unmixed. There's like the solid stuff at the bottom and the liquid stuff at the top, and at first the ball won't even move, so these require a lot of mixing when you go to use them, and then they also unmix really quickly, and if you just have it like on a palette or something, it's literally like you have water on the palette, so it's just going to dribble off unless you're super careful, and then you also need to mix it and then keep mixing it, and it's too much work to do to apply it with a brush, so just use it with an airbrush or not at all, I guess. The makeup sets almost instantly. You airbrush it on, you do one pass, you go to do the other side, and this side is completely set. It's amazing. It's also really water resistant, so it's super great for using for bridal work, or if you tend to sweat a lot or something. It's a really good makeup to have because it's not going to just wear off really quickly. I find that it feels like nothing on my skin. It feels very natural. In fact, the only thing I can really feel on my skin is my mascara, obviously, and things like my eye makeup. In fact, my eyes are tearing up a little bit. But I can feel the fact that I have some powder on my face, but I don't feel like I'm wearing foundation, which is fantastic since most of us don't want to feel makeup on our face. Oh, my voice cracked a little bit right there. That was weird. The texture is sort of like a satin matte kind of texture. It isn't completely matte because it does have a little tiny bit of a glow, but I feel like the glow looks like it's coming from like underneath the surface, if that makes sense, which is a really great look. I think it looks very skin-like. At least it looks the most skin-like of all the water-based makeups that I've used, or airbrush specifically. I find that most water-based foundations do tend to have a more matte finish, and for those of you with dry skin, it can actually look a little too dry, so you want to make sure you properly moisturize your skin before you use this. But I think this is the least dry looking of all the airbrush makeups that I've used, and you can really again, because it has that super thin texture, you can get a really nice sheer spray, which is fantastic. Now when it comes to picking a shade, it can be just a little bit tricky because it comes in 64 different colors. Say it with me, kids. 64 different shades. That's insane. I don't know any other company that has a shade range like that, although I think a couple of the colors are like blush or contour or something like that, but still, that's like a huge shade range, so you're definitely going to be able to find something that will work for you. Their shade range is divided into warm, cool, and neutral. For them, neutral is somewhere kind of in between yellow and pink toned, although I think that their neutrals are a little bit more leaning on the yellow side, which is understandable since most people actually have a yellow undertone, as opposed to a very small percent of the population that actually has a pink undertone. I actually have to custom mix, even though there's this huge extensive shade range. I'm also really picky, so I actually mix up Bombshell with Sunrise Flush, and I get a nice neutral but cool skin tone going on. So this is the mix that works for me. I use 2/3 to 1/3 ratio to mix those. Wow, grammar police, please come arrest me. So now we're gonna kind of get into some of the not so great things. It's mainly just a packaging issue. My issue with this is that it unmixes really easily, so you have to shake the ever-living dickens out of it to get it remixed. In and of itself, not a terrible thing. The problem is that you have this twist cap, and makeup tends to spurt out, especially when this was more full. I've used about this much of it, or that much of it has been used rather. So, I mean, it doesn't spurt out so much anymore, but as you can see, oh, when you close it, it spurts out, wastes your makeup, which is annoying on its own, but it also makes a mess of the container, and when you go to clean it up, the label wears off. Like this one doesn't even say Bombshell anymore. Some of the lettering on the back is a little bit worn off, but for the most part it's intact, but the label where the name is has worn off. That is it's not a deal breaker, but it's really irritating, especially since when you have them unmixed, they all kind of look the same. So from just, if I were to be putting these in my kit, they're not labeled, so I would have to put labels on them. The smaller sizes come with the labels on the bottom, so I think that the label should also be on the bottom on the full sizes. I would also like to see the type of cap that the little sample sizes come with, the twist-off cap. I just find it so much easier to use, so I would prefer that in the full size as well. So I think that's pretty much the only downside of this makeup, so I want to kind of get back to the good stuff. One of the most genius things about this is that every color that comes in the Glam Air airbrush makeup also comes in the Glamour Cream. So it's super easy once you find your color to just boom boom, wear this, wear that. This can be used as a foundation itself if you thin it down with moisturizer, but I prefer to use it as concealer all over the face except for under the eye. I have tried this and I just found that it creased on me around my eye area. I have like little folds in my eyes. They're not wrinkles though. They're not. I have these lines around my eye and things tend to settle into them, and this settled into them really quickly. So I still think it's great for all over the face, just not around the eye area. One of the best things about the fact that it comes in both a liquid and a cream is that you can actually buy these sets where you get both. So this is actually the cool set, so you have 5 different colors of the cool Glam Airs, and then you have 5 different colors of the cool Glam Air creams, or Glamour creams, not Glam Air. So this is just awesome. I love it. I really, really love it. I think that it's a great airbrush makeup. I love that the Glamour creams I can't pronounce words today. The Glamour creams come in the same shades. It makes it super easy, especially if you're working on a client. You figure out their tone, boom, boom, done and done. You know what's going to work for them. And if you're just using it on yourself, it also makes it really easy. Then the only thing that is left to discuss is price. So this is sold for $19 for 1 ounce, which I think is a really good price. Various different websites like Camera Ready Cosmetics also have, discounts for makeup artists and things like that. I don't know if Graftobian has their own pro discount set up. I'm not entirely sure. Kits, I think I might have mentioned this, but they're sold for $36.99, and you, oh, well. Alright, that's the end of the video, I guess. So yeah, the kits are sold for $36.99. So yeah, I think my hands are telling me I'm done. So have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Remember to be vintage or tacky. Just be yourself. Bye.